I want to be the very best, like no one ever was. Yes, everyone wants to be the best at something. And I wanted to be the best at drawing. As a kid, I would lock myself up in my room and spend endless hours of drawing. And I was, and I still am, a big fan of Japanese cartoons. You know, the big eyes and all these adventures and these fictional creatures and all these bright colors. Oh man, I love to draw them on paper. Any pencil I could find, I would draw them. And even now, I still find myself behind my drawing desk, even in the middle of the night. And yeah, my partner's a bit annoyed by that because I keep the lights on and he's an advisor in sustainability. So there goes saving energy. But I love this drawing. And I'll have all these scribbles and portraits, and I still would draw these Japanese cartoons. Because at the moment when I put my pencil on this white piece of paper, everything is possible. And I would relive their imaginative world, and I would be in my own little world where everything is possible. Until one day, actually recently, I could no longer hold a single pencil. I had a tennis arm, tendinitis, RSI, just name it. It was creeping slowly into my system. An old injury that came back to me and was torturing my right arm, my arm that I used for drawing. The pain was excruciating. I had numbness in my hands and my fingers. I was losing strength. I could no longer draw for even 5 minutes. My body blocked my urge to express my creativity. The creativity as a kid, and still the creativity that I have. And that creativity started exactly with my cousin who came with the picture. And he said, "This is a flying train." And the creativity started with my dad. He always pushed my creativity. We always had these little drawing competitions. And I remember when I was 7 years old, I stood in front of the teacher and my dad was standing next to me. And apparently, I failed an arts assignment. And my dad told my teacher, well, at least she used her imagination and she tried something new. And that memory kept with me. Okay, I cannot use my right arm, but I'm not going to accept the current state. I'm not going to accept that I cannot use my right arm. So what I did, I gave myself a challenge. Any challenge anyone would do in my position. And I wanted to go climbing with only using one arm. So I signed up for this introduction class, 30th of April, 2019, not that long ago. I was with my two friends, Benjo and Lauri. We were in front of this 2-meter high wall. And I saw all these colorful grips, and there are these 2 ropes, and one attached to my harness. And FYI, I'm so afraid of heights. I was standing there, I was like, what am I doing? I have to do this with one arm. And I'm like, oh, okay. But I was there. And I grabbed the first grip I could find, the red one. And I was looking with my legs where I could balance myself and push me up the wall. And I remember telling myself, whatever you do, don't look down. Don't look down. Yikes. Block. Benjo zips me down. I was touching the ground again. Oh, my legs full with adrenaline and I was shaking. And Laurie next to me, thumbs up. First attempt. Okay, no more thinking. I'm going to do it again, grip by grip. I feel my breath catching in my throat. Block. I have to go down again. Benjo and Laurie there on the ground, grinning from ear to ear. You made it to the 10 meters. Okay, third attempt. My left arm and my legs already telling my right arm, no worries, we got this. We have all the strength to put Lindsy to the top. And my mind was overcoming the fear of heights. I was feeling this confidence coming in me, and I was like, yeah, I can stretch my abilities. I can do this. There is no limit that I cannot do this. As soon as I realized, I reached the 20 meters. And this climbing, it became a springboard for me for growth. And it's something about stretching our abilities, our existing abilities of the status quo. I was no longer rejected by my mind and my body. And I experienced all the gains of reaching the top. And the status quo, to maintain the status quo, is to do what you're familiar with. What you know is how things are. You know, people would always say, yeah, we've been doing this for 30 years. This is how it is. Why would we change it? Why do something else? And to maintain the status quo is actually done by our mind and our actions and behavior. And I wanted to look it up a little bit further, challenging the status quo. What does that actually mean? So I Googled it, you know, like what anyone else would do. And I stumbled upon search results that only refer to work culture or creativity at work. I thought it was interesting. You know, develop routine, tackle the challenge quo, or the status quo, actually. Foster this rebel talent and embrace this innovation culture. No creativity at work. You know what you should do? You should challenge the status quo. And you know what's ironic? The first time I questioned the status quo was at work culture. So I'd like to share with you another personal story. It was almost 8-9 years ago when I started my very first job. I was full with energy and enthusiasm and had all the skills and knowledge I gained through university. I was ready to do my first job as a sales representative. I was eager to learn about marketing and communication and new sales strategies. And I even passed a 2-week training with contentment of my management. I thought I was skyrocketing, bubbling with all these ideas to improve the campaigns, showing it to my management, until I discovered these hidden roadblocks and pushbacks. Lindsy, you cannot do that. Lindsy, that is not your job. Yeah, we appreciate your opinion, but I think we know better. Every day I would go to work, and every day I was told, no. No, you cannot do that. No, that's not how it's supposed to be. Every day, just imagine yourself if you were told every day, no. I started to doubt my own skills. I started to doubt my own potential. Every day I was hearing, no, you're not allowed to do that. Lindsy, why didn't you push that deal? Why didn't you push the client? You could have done better. Numbness overcame me. My ears were closing off the world and every word just became inaudible. My throat felt dry and I felt the world was just spinning around me. For 10 months, I was told no. For 10 months, I had these headaches, and dizziness became my daily spectacle of my surroundings. And the warm glow of my voice no longer held the curiosity, because I lost faith in myself. Every day I heard no. I thought this was it. This is how work culture is. So I had a decision to make. Either I could decide to conform to the expectations of my management and just push through. Because I wanted to be independent. I wanted to have my paid job. You know, I want to be part of society. And I don't want to be a failure. Because, oh man, I felt so guilty. So guilty that I couldn't do better with my very first job. Or I could decide to let go, being the unknown without any plan. And I let go. No plan. I was in the unknown for months. And you know what was interesting? I was worrying so much about my losses that I lost sight of what I could gain. So I embraced that unknown. I was done spending time chasing expectation after expectation. I was done conforming to the rules. I wanted to take matter into own hands. I wanted to hear a yes and not a no. So as an entrepreneur and a coach, I questioned myself. After experiencing diverse work cultures, positive and negative, in different organizations, I said, I want to challenge the status quo of a culture that says, no, you cannot do that. Because I discovered that there's also a culture that says yes to opportunities. Yes, let's do this. Let's use all that creativity and be that child again that asks why, maybe 10 times. And during that journey, I discovered 4 golden mindsets. And I always use these mindsets every time I feel like I need to challenge the status quo, or if anyone else comes to me and says, this is what I'm facing. And I would like to share with you these 4 golden mindsets. It's actually my ABCD. The A stands for acknowledge it. Acknowledge what's happening right now. You're in your comfort zone. It's very comfortable to stay here. You know, this is what we know. This is what we're familiar with. And if I go beyond these paths, there's uncertainty. Because what's out there? I don't know. And because of this uncertainty, we're inclined to not undertake or just wait. But waiting is counterproductive. Because if you want to be more certain, just go out there. You know, they always say when you want to go out of your comfort zone, go there. No, just stretch it a little bit. And be certain of what's happening there. And yes, you might fail. Yes, you might achieve your goal. And there's always this negative connotation with failures. I say failure is heaven. Because my best teacher was my last failure. And if you have that goal, you're not going to achieve it the first attempt. Acknowledge that. Acknowledge that, yes, maybe I'm not going to do it today, or maybe nothing going to happen today, but it doesn't mean I will do it tomorrow. So acknowledge that stretching that comfort zone, it's going to be a bumpy ride. So let's go to B, for beat it together. You don't have to go on that road alone. Find your climbing buddies. Because when you take that fall, they'll have your back. And they're the ones who are going to support you. They're the ones who are going to say, yes, I want you to be the best in what you love to do the most. So share your thoughts. Share what you want to do differently. And advocating for yourself is not about stroking your ego and say, you know what, I'm better. No, if you don't share your story, then there's no one out there who can say, hey, I am that climbing buddy. I know what you're feeling, and I want to be there to help you. Because together, you'll know how to beat this bumpy road. And C, for challenge it. Not something challenge you, will you rise up. If it doesn't challenge you, you're just still going to stay down in front of the 20-meter high wall. And before any challenge, you might say, oh, what am I going to do? I've never done this before, and I don't have the skills, so we have to go beyond those words. We have to go beyond solely relying on our skills and knowledge. Because it's not a question about talents or credibility or external circumstances. It's about that mindset that you already have here and the passion that's already there in your heart. It's the willingness to grow as a person, and it's the willingness to try out new things. So D stands for do it. It's not like one day you're going to wake up and say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to challenge the status quo. No. You're going to do something you unconditionally want to do. You do it And you look back and realize all the changes you made. And it might be scary because it's something unknown. But the worst thing you can ask yourself is, what's the worst thing that can happen? No, ask yourself, what's the best thing that can happen? So acknowledge it, beat it, challenge it, and do it. And it's something that's in the unknown, but that's exactly where you will find your creativity. And I also believe that we need utopism to create a better future. You know, a fictional future usually arises from dissatisfaction of the status quo. And fiction becomes reality when you take matters into your own hands, when you acknowledge it, beat it, challenge it, and do it. Those who create the future don't do it by doing the same thing that has been done before. Those who create the future, they take matters into their own hands, one step at a time. I will travel across the land, searching far and wide, each person to understand the power that's inside. We all want to be the best, like no one ever was. So sketch your path, color it with others, and you'll see that wall is not that high to climb. Thank you.